Hello viewers, 4DIYers here with another tutorial video for everyone. In this particular video here, I'll be doing a demonstration how to determine if a car has been painted. I will be going over a few different vehicles, providing you with various examples on what to look for. First, let me start by saying if a vehicle has been painted, it's not necessarily a bad thing. A vehicle can have areas or panels touched up, or the whole vehicle can be repainted. Painting can be done due to stone chips, a parking lot scuff, small or large accidents, vandalism, vehicle color change, custom paint, restoration, repairing failing or worn existing paint, rust, or other forms of damage. Regardless of the reason for repairs, there are good and bad quality jobs. While I'm not necessarily a fan of purchasing a vehicle that's been repainted, the used car market where I live, it can be extremely hard to find an original vehicle. Therefore, I typically try to avoid the bad quality repaints. Depending on the color, some repaints are easier to spot than compared to others. Lighter colors tend to hide repairs better, however, some colors such as silver, gold, or metallics may be harder to match. Towards the end of the video, I'll also feature a tool which can be used to measure the paint thickness made by CarSys, and I have a 10% coupon code for my subscribers, which is 4DIYers10. A link to this tool will be included in the description below. The first thing we can typically look for is a difference in colors. This can include anything from a lighter or darker tone. On metallics, you may even notice a difference in the metallic particles in the paint. Metallic paints have a sparkle, especially when exposed to light, whereas a non-metallic paint will have a solid color. It's best to view the vehicle in person for this. Depending on the angle of the panel or light, sometimes it may appear as it's a different color on a photo. However, on this example of the Subaru, I did replace the front fender. But with that being said, many vehicles are experiencing the issue where there's different color paint tones between the plastic components such as the bumpers and the metal body panels. Beyond the paint difference in color, we can also look for irregular fading on panels. One panel or portion of the vehicle could be shiny while the rest are faded, and this would mean that the shiny panel has a newer paint. Next is viewing the shine and clarity of paint. This would be the orange peel consistency. Just like the peel on an orange, paint isn't always 100% level, meaning you don't have perfect clarity. There will always be some distortion, and this can vary between manufacturers or painters. Orange peel can be removed by wet sanding and polish, leaving a sharp clarity. Orange peel is created from when there's not enough paint on the surface, improper air pressure, or paint atomization. Orange peel should be consistent throughout the body of the vehicle. With this Volvo, as you can see, the quarter panel is a bit hazy, while the driver's door does have good clarity. Therefore, the quarter panel has been repainted. Next is looking for flaws in the paint. This can be anything from runs, drips, fisheye, dirt, peeling paint, overspray, wavy bodywork, or even sanding marks. This truck I just recently purchased, while it's hard to see in the day, at night with the light in the right area, it highlights very well. The metallic paint has filled in the sanding marks. There is also some ghosting of the material in behind underneath the paint layer, either from primer or bare filler, and this can be seen using an LED light. Going back to the Volvo quarter panel, the panel looks like it's been blended and there is some paint peeling, which is the factory paint shown underneath. On this black door, you can see the excessive orange peel and sanding marks. Sanding marks shown on a final paint layers from using the wrong grit of sandpaper or shrinkage of material used below the paint layer. On the edge of the door, while the clarity is good with minimal orange peel, at the edge there is a drip on the door that's noticeable, and this isn't something caused from factory. Fisheye, while I don't have an example of this, is a crater in the paint where it's separated due to contamination, improperly mixed paint, or chemical separating. Dirt, on the other hand, tends to leave raised portions on the paint where the paint covers over top of it and not allowing for a smooth finish. Next is looking for paint edges. Depending on the repair budget or quality of work, someone may not have removed the emblems, trim, door handles, lights, or any other removable objects. Those tape edges can even be found around the door, trunk, or hood openings. As you can see on the emblem on the back of the Volvo, around the 0 you can see there's a different tone in paint color as opposed to the center, and this would mean someone did tape off the emblem. Tape edges can either be hard or soft lines, depending on how someone masked the vehicle. Hard lines are much easier to find, such as on this trunk area, and as you can see there's also a difference in color. Close to those paint edges can also leave a poorly done paint job to peel up, so you may see lifting or flaking on that paint edge. While we're on the topic of paint edges, poorly taped areas can leave trim exposed. Therefore, you can see paint on the trim components such as around the window trim, rub strips, emblems, clips, or any other removable components. When I redid the fender flares on the Toyota, when pulling off the fender flare polyurethane stone guard, someone had painted right over top of it instead of removing and replacing. You may also notice peeling paint or clear coat. While some vehicles did have peeling paint from factory, these issues can typically be found with internet searches or asking on the appropriate car communities. With this Tacoma, the driver's side was painted at one point in its life, and you can see the peeling clear coat on the driver's side. This was most likely caused from the painter not applying the clear coat at the proper time, therefore it didn't bond correctly, and now it's eventually peeling. Other times you may notice the paint color peeling, such as the rear bumper on the Volvo. Underneath that visible paint layer is the same paint color between. When a vehicle's factory paint fails, it will expose a primer or e-coat below the paint layer. Next, we can also inspect for overspray on the exterior panels of the vehicle, within the door jambs, around the trunk and hood openings, inside the fender wells, and even on the underside of the vehicle, such as the frame, suspension components, or even the exhaust. When overspray is on the body, it will appear to have a rough finish, not smooth like it should be. Overspray on other components, you'll see basically a mist of paint color. And finally, last but not least, the paint thickness can be measured. This is a great tool to have when inspecting used or new vehicles. Brand new vehicles can even have repairs made due to damage from shipping or being on the lot. I have seen this in the past. This tool is able to measure the thickness of paint or primer on metal or alloy surfaces. These measurements can be referred to a generic specification, which is the manufacturer's specs, and CarSys does supply that list of those paint thicknesses for certain manufacturers. The link to this tool is included in the description below, and as mentioned earlier, I do have a coupon code to receive 10% off for my subscribers. Taking this tool, select the type of panel you'll be testing, either metal or aluminum, then set the type of measurement you'd like to use. In this case, we can use microns, millimeters, or mils. Hold the instrument on the panel and wait a second for a reading. The door I used earlier for an example with the light, here you can see the large range of thickness. This means that there's excessively thick paint, higher buildup of primer, or body filler. For another example, using an aluminum panel on this Volvo's hood. Simply change the settings on the instrument and you're able to use it on another type of material. If you are noticing low readings compared to what the manufacturer's specs are, this means that the paint is thin, and this can be caused from paint deterioration or excessive polishing. New videos are released every week on my channel. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button, it's a huge help to me, and leave a comment below if you found this tutorial helpful. Don't forget to follow my social media pages such as Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter to keep up to date with my latest projects. And if you're not a subscriber, be sure to also hit that subscribe button. Thank you for watching.